Hello, welcome to my channel WordPress Gladiator. Today in this video I'm going to show you how you can point your domain name, and I'm gonna show you two methods. So in the first method I'm going to show you how you can use name servers to point your domain name to your web hosting, and in the second method I'm going to show you how you can use the IP address to point your domain name. Alright, enough wasting your time, let's start with the first method. So in this first method, I'm going to show you how you can point your domain name to your web hosting by using name servers. So no matter who's your web hosting provider, every web hosting provider has their own name servers, and you use those name servers to point your domain name. Alright, so let's imagine that I purchased my web hosting at Hostinger and I successfully added my domain name to this web hosting plan, but now I need to point this domain name. Or let's say you are using any other web hosting provider. Usually when you are setting up your web hosting, you have a chance to add your domain name. So once you type this domain name, next thing you have to do is to point that domain name. So no matter what's your situation, you should find an option to add a domain name or to add a new website to your existing web hosting. So let's say I added my domain name to my web hosting, that is Hostinger, or it can be any other web hosting provider. So now I need to find out what name servers Hostinger uses. Usually you will find name servers in the panel of your web hosting, but if you cannot locate those name servers, you can use Google. So go to Google, type your web hosting. In my case, it's going to be Hostinger, and I'm just gonna type name servers. So I'm gonna click right here on the name servers. And as you can see, we have two name servers. So you want to copy them both, or you can copy just one name server, because the second one is gonna be easy to remember. Instead of one right here, it has two. So you want to copy those servers, and once you have done this, go to your domain name provider. In my case, it's going to be GoDaddy.com. It is the most popular place to get your domain name, so I think this example is gonna work just well. Alright, so once you are in the panel of your domain names provider, you have to locate your domain name and you want to look for DNS adjustments. So in my case, I can see them right here. In your case, it might be DNS as well, or it could be DNS management or something like that, like DNS settings. You want to click on this option, and now all we have to do is click right here, name servers, and just click change name servers. Select that you want to use your name servers, and just paste the name servers you copied previously. So the first one and the second one as well. Once you have done this, you can hit save changes. And basically that's it. This is how you can point your domain name using name servers. So all you have to do is at first you have to add your domain name to your web hosting. Just add the domain name you want to use with web hosting. Usually this part is done when you are setting up your web hosting or you are adding new websites to your web hosting. In this part, all you have to do is just type your domain name to add to the web hosting. Next step, you want to find the name servers of your web hosting. So you can either do this going through your panel of your web hosting. Usually those name servers are easily noticeable, but if you cannot find them, you can use Google. Just type your web hosting and type name servers. You should find two name servers, so you want to copy them both. And now once you have done this, you have to go to your domain name provider, locate DNS settings, select them, and look for name servers. And once you find the name servers, you will have to replace your existing name servers with the name servers you copied from your web hosting. So this is a quite simple step. It shouldn't be too complicated. And once you have done this, you can actually check the DNS propagation. And I know it's a fancy word, propagation, but in reality it just shows you the progress of the changes, because once you change your name servers, those all changes doesn't happen right away. It takes some time. Usually it can take up to 1 hour, a couple of hours, and in very rare occasions it can take up to 24 hours, but usually it doesn't happen. So okay, once you go to this website, I will include link in the description. Right here you can type your domain name. In my case, this is going to be the domain name. And now I want to select NS. It stands for name servers. So as you can see, if I would click search, I get my old name servers. So those are the name servers I had by default in the GoDaddy settings. If I would go to my name servers, as you can see, these are the same name servers I'm getting right here. And once you replace those name servers, you will see the progress of changing them right here. At first, not every name server will be changed in every location, but eventually every single name server in every single location will be updated to your newly added name servers. So basically that's it. This is how you can point your domain name using the first method. Alright, so now you know how to point your domain name using name servers, and now in the second method I'm going to show you how you can change the IP address, how you can use the IP address to point your domain name to your web hosting. This method is the best suitable for VPS servers and cloud web hostings like Cloudways. So if you're using any of those, this method should work you the best. So in this method, instead of using name servers, we're gonna add an IP address to our domain name in DNS settings. So in this case, you need to locate your IP address in your web hosting's dashboard panel. So for this example, I'm gonna use Cloudways. So let's say I just created a new server. Let's imagine this is my newly created server, and right here I added a new application that is WordPress installation, and I added my website. Now I need to add IP address to my domain name's settings. So first of all, no matter what is your web hosting provider, if it's Cloudways or any other web hosting provider, you have to locate the IP address. So this is the first step. You have to locate the IP address. For example, this is the IP address that I need to copy. So I can copy this IP address. As you can see, the same address can be seen right here. And the same IP address can be found right here. If I would go to application settings, that basically means settings for my WordPress installation for the website. And as you can see, application credentials, right here I have the same IP address. Your IP address should look something like this. It's a bunch of numbers. And once you located that IP address, you want to copy this address. And before you do any changes, you have to add domain name as well. So you have to add domain name to your web hosting as well, just like you had to add your domain name in the first method where I showed you how you can point your domain name using name servers. So in this case of Cloudways, as you can see, once I am on application level, that basically means I'm doing changes to this particular website. As you can see, I already have added domain name. And let's say if it didn't have any domain name here, I can add this domain name right here in domain management settings. And let's say we don't have this domain name right here. We have just a default domain name, that is this one. Basically, that's exactly how everything looked before I added this domain name. So let's say in your case, you don't have this domain name. You just click add domain name. And once you add domain name, by clicking right here, you will be able to set this domain name as primary domain. So that's exactly what you want to do. So no matter who's your web hosting provider, first of all, you have to locate your IP address. Secondly, you have to add your domain name to your web hosting provider. It's a simple step. You just have to type your domain name and pretty much that's it. All right. So now once you have copied your IP address, you have to go back to your domain name's provider. In my case, once again, it's gonna be GoDaddy. And no matter who's your domain name provider, you have to look for DNS settings, DNS management, or just DNS. Once you find this, you want to click on it. In my case, it is DNS. And now all you have to do is you have to create an A record if you don't have one. Just like this one right here. In my case, it was already created by default, but if you don't have this record, you want to click add new record, choose type A, right here enter name ETA, and right here paste your IP address. All right, and time to load, you can set, right, just a second, 600 seconds. All right, this way settings will be applied much sooner. This is what you have to do if you don't have an A record that is already created. All right, if you don't see this record right here, type A, name ETA, and data parked. If you don't see this one here, you have to create new and select type A, name ETA, and enter the value and TTL select 600 seconds. So this is what you have to do if you don't have this one right here added by default. In my case, since it was added by default, I don't need to create a new one. All right, we can click cancel. And instead of adding a new one, I can click right here, edit. And I would have to paste this IP address just like that. And I would have to click save. Next step, make sure that you have CNAME record, this one right here. So you want to have type CNAME, you want to have name www, and data, you want to type your domain name, just like that. So you have to do this if you don't have this one right here. If you don't see this record, this one right here, you will need to create a new one. So you will have to click add new, type CNAME, and name you'll have to type www. And right here, you'll have to type your domain name. And that's it. And of course, you can also set TTL to 600 seconds. All right. And we can hit cancel. Yes, cancel. So once you have done this, you can also check the propagation. All right. We can go to DNS propagation to see what is the progress of DNS settings. All right. You'll have to type your domain name. And remember, select a record. Let's select a record and let's hit search. Alright, as you can see, almost in every location, settings were applied successfully and we get this IP address. If I would go back, this is the exact IP address I recently added, and as you can see, everything was updated successfully. Only a couple of places still hasn't updated, but everything seems good. So now your domain name should be successfully pointed to your web hosting. Alright, so in this method, as you saw it yourself, first of all, you have to locate the IP address that you have with your web hosting. So once you have located this IP address, you have to add your domain name to your web hosting. So no matter what type of web hosting you are using, it could be cloud hosting, it could be VPS, and no matter what type of web hosting is that, you have to add your domain name. Just type the domain name and pretty much that's it. Next, you will have to go to your domain names provider, look for DNS management settings or just DNS, and right here, make sure that you add this record, or if this record already exists, then you have to update it with the new IP address. Once you have done this, make sure that you have this record right here, CNAME type, name www, and it should have data your domain name, and that's it. This is how you point your domain name using the second method. Alright, so now you should know how to point your domain name, and if the first method didn't work, you can try the second method. But in reality, once you are done with the first method, you should wait some time, or the second method as well, you should wait some time. And don't forget to check DNS propagation. You can use the tool I just showed you. And if within a couple of hours something doesn't work, then in this case there might be something wrong. But sometimes in very rare occasions, it can take up to 24 hours for all the settings to appear to be in place. So if after 24 hours nothing works, then you should probably contact your customer support and try to resolve this issue. But I really doubt that this issue will happen to you if you followed my instructions. Alright, so if you found this video useful, don't forget to subscribe to my channel because I have more awesome and useful content. And if you will have any questions or issues, you can join my Facebook group. You will find a link in description, or you can ask a question, leave me a comment. Alright, thank you for watching, and I hope I will see you in the next video. Goodbye.